Well, riding high from her better-than-expected performance in the presidential debate, Kamala Harris decided to give a rare interview. Needless to say, she should have remained in hiding. It didn't go that well.
Bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people. Yeah. What are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard. She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager. I grew up in a community of hardworking people.
Joining us now is Based Politics co-founder, journalist and commentator Brad Polumbo. Brad, any chance you could decode that answer for us, that monologue, please?
This is why they don't let her out of the basement. They don't let her do interviews, because when she does, it doesn't go very well. It's just hilarious to be asked, can you give me a couple specific things? I mean, high prices are one of Americans' top concerns after all this inflation. Can you give me a couple specific things you're going to do? She goes, well, I grew up a middle-class kid, and my mother this, and it's like, babe, it's not about you. It's about what are you going to do to actually help the American public, and you came up empty. And ironically, 3 minutes later in the interview, when she finally did get to some policies, she mentioned things that would actually make prices go up. She started talking about how she wants to subsidize first-time home buyers and give them more help on the demand side with $25,000 down payment assistance, when what we have as a problem is a lack of housing supply. So that would actually push prices higher. So it's hilarious in one sense because she's just so incredibly bad at this, but in another sense, it's actually profoundly disturbing if you're one of the many Americans upset about high prices.
Well, Brad, as if that interview wasn't bad enough, check out this performance at the Black Caucus dinner in Phoenix.
To all my divine nine brothers and sisters, and my sorors, and to all my HBCU brothers and sisters.
Brad, help me, I'm confused. Was that Kamala's old fake black accent, or was that Kamala's new fake black accent?
I don't know. It's so hard to keep up. And that's one of the big problems she has, is a total lack of authenticity. Who is Kamala Harris? It depends on what room she's in, depends on what's politically expedient at the moment. I mean, even CNN cataloged 11 major policy positions she's flip-flopped in just the last few years. And frankly, she does seem to want to be all things to all people. In some rooms, she's a moderate. In some rooms, she's a progressive. In some rooms, she leans into her black heritage. In some rooms, she leans into her Indian heritage. That's one of her big problems in this election, is a total perceived lack of authenticity. Whereas Trump, love him or hate him, he is what he is, and people know what he's about.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know which Kamala you'll get on which day. Now, speaking of, her VP pick, Tim Walz, he's, of course, had his fair share of cringe moments, but it seems as though it's rubbed off on his wife. Have a look.
But I kind of liked it when she did this. Turn the page. You like that? Okay, so I need you to be with me and practice with me. What are we going to do? We're going to turn the page. Oh, pretty good. Do it again. We're going to turn the page. And we're going to turn the page. All right, so I'm going to be watching you, because when I see Wisconsin, and I'm watching nationally on TV, because this is a pretty important place, and Minnesota helped you practice with this, you just show me this. Turn the page, right? Turn the page. And you know what else that looks like? Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Donald Trump. We are turning the page. 52 days and we are turning the page. 52 days and it is bye-bye, Donald Trump.
Brad, all is well, clearly.
I don't know what I just watched. Why is it that liberals in America seem so obsessed with speaking to their fans and followers as if they're kindergartners? There's something eerie and condescending about this. And she also's got this odd, caught in the headlights, bug-eyed look going on. I mean, she is not ready for prime time. Maybe she needs to step back maybe and not step up at the next rally, because I don't know what we just saw or what it was supposed to make us feel, but I felt slightly creeped out, alarmed, and condescended too. I don't know. I don't think most Americans are looking for somebody to take them back, give them flashbacks to kindergarten to get them to vote to the polls. Very odd stuff.
Well, Brad, we're going to turn the page and talk about Joe Biden. Last week, he asked for a Trump hat, and then he made headlines around the world by putting it on. But have a look at this. Biden was carrying the MAGA hat as he boarded Air Force One. Now, he knows full well this will be picked up on by the media. Is this a nothing burger, or is he sending a message?
Well, I guess there's two ways to interpret this. One is that he might be so addled he doesn't even know what's going on anymore. He thinks it's like a Biden hat, or he thinks it's a different kind of thing, or he doesn't even just know, which on one sense, that would be the more concerning explanation. The other explanation is that maybe he's trying to show some unity or some bipartisanship, or he was trying to have a friendly exchange with the Trump supporter who gave him the hat. And maybe you could give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But it's just hard because he's demonstrated so many times a lack of knowing what room he's in or what state he's in, or whether the people in the room with him are dead or alive or are actually there, that it's hard to give him too much benefit of the doubt when it comes to what's going on. But maybe he was trying to make a gesture of goodwill. I don't know. It's sad to see what he's become and descended into, and how they can keep pushing him out there as if he's still fit to lead is just beyond me.
It really is. Now, look, we don't expect much from the clowns over at MSNBC, but the Chief Loon, as I like to call her, Joy Reed, has really outdone herself this week when she and a guest smeared millions of Trump voters.
Everything he does is despicable.
The reason why it doesn't end his career is because his supporters are just as despicable, all right? Like, Trump's whole thing, he's a narcissist, right? And so his whole thing is to have a complete lack of compassion and empathy for everybody else. It's all about him.
Brad, what is going on at this network?
Wow, that is really sad and ignorant stuff. I mean, I would never want to write off half my entire country as evil and despicable. That is really gross, and it's really oversimplistic and just dismissive of all the complex issues that divide us. It's really sad stuff, and it's also just terrible. I mean, MSNBC is supposed to be in the tank for Democrats. It's terrible as political strategy. Yeah. You know what will get people to see the light? Insult them and call them despicable. These are hopelessly out of touch elitists with disdain for the American people that totally strip the world of its complexity. It's really gross and grotesque.
Yeah, absolutely. Brad Polumbo, thanks so much for making sense of America for us. Appreciate it.